Welcome to the Complete Fitness Podcast with Core 4 Complete Fitness. Your episode is starting in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, peoples. Happy Wednesday to you all. Hopefully you guys having a great month of June to kick things off. Before we get going, guys, like always, if you could subscribe to the Complete Fitness Podcast, whether you're listening to us on iTunes or Spotify or Audible, or whatever your platform of choice is, or watching on YouTube, there's a little subscribe button, and if you press that thing, that'll help us keep growing this thing. And if you could share it with anybody that you know it may benefit from, if you have friends or family that are trying to get in shape or they've been stuck for a while, we put this out to help you guys. So if somebody does need help, then use this as our gift to you to help them out and help yourself out along the way. Now, today, we wanted to talk to you guys with summer approaching and being kind of like in the beginning of summertime. This is a time where, at least being in the Midwest, there is a lot more temptation. We're kind of stuck where we are in the fall and the winter. We're stuck inside the house. And really, unless you go like out to dinner or something, it's kind of just a mundane, monotonous routine. But this is the time of year where people are going golfing. They're having barbecues. There's graduation parties. There's weddings. And it's a very busy season, especially going into the weekends. And for a lot of us, we think, okay, I got X, Y, and Z coming up, or this event, and I can't get in shape, or I just can't do it. So the whole purpose of this podcast, guys, is just getting around overcoming obstacles, whether it be injury related, event related, and how you can kind of overcome these little hiccups that happen, especially with this kind of busy part of the year with the kids getting out of school and all that stuff. Now, over time, guys, a lot of people think when they start to get in shape or they start to exercise or they start to eat healthy, that there is this perfect stretch of time that they have to commit to, basically, where no fun is allowed. There is no margin for error. There is no wiggle room. They have to be 100% perfect. And that's usually the number one thing that keeps people from either starting or from actually getting in shape. Because it's always 2 steps forward, 2 steps back. They go, I did this for a couple months, but then I got a vacation next week, or I do this for a couple months, and then I got a wedding next week, or I tweak my ankle. And all these things are kind of part of like the healthy fitness lifestyle that you live. And in this like circle of life of getting in shape, you're always going to have these moments. But if every time you're looking down the road and you go, okay, well, in a month I got to do this, and then next month I got to do this. These things are always going to come up until the day that you're 6 feet under. But if every single time you're always just looking down the pipeline, you're going to lose sight of what's in front of you right now, and that's today. Make sense?
Yeah, Sam. I'll give you an example. I was just up north golfing last weekend, and that's not something I do every single day. Was I focused on working out or eating clean? No. Was I the most hydrated I've ever been? No. Was I replacing water with something else? Yes. Right? Did I get banged up, as they say? Absolutely. Am I going to live the rest of my life never doing that again just because I'm a quote-unquote healthy, fitness-focused person? No, that's what my life is. Once a year, twice a year, I'm going to go out and do something because what I enjoy doing, it's what the boys like doing. It's fun. We play hockey. We have the hockey boys. So when we get together on Sunday, we'll have a couple beers in the locker room, or if we get, something going and we're going to a concert or whatever we're doing, it's a fun time. We throw down, but that does not mean all of a sudden everything we have done leading up to this point and everything we're going to do in the future is non-existent, right? It's not the beginning of an end, or it's not an end to a beginning. Okay, it's just part of life. That's why it's so important, and that's why we always preach the non-sustainable diet nutrition trends. Like we're thinking keto or paleo or even veganism, vegetarianism. I know those are usually different reasons why they're doing that, but anything that's going to fully cut something out is not really sustainable. 9 times out of 10, you're a person who enjoys pizza. There's no way you're never going to have pizza again. There's no way. So what are we doing? Okay, let's just create a better relationship with it, right? And same with going up north and whatever, drinking too much and staying up late and smoking cigars and doing stuff that I definitely don't do on the regular day. I would feel very bad if I did that on the regular day. It's just kind of time to get back to life as you come back, and it actually feels better. You almost feel a little, at least me, I feel a little anxious when I come back from things like that. I need to like reset, and I'm in my head a little bit, and I got to get a workout in. And that's one of the things that I found is one of the first things to do after traveling or after a night out or something, is counterintuitive as it may feel to go work out. It's the best automatic reset. It kind of regrounds you and gets you back into life. And then you go, okay, yes, I just did some damage to my body, but it's not continuing. It's not
We're
growing.
right back on track.
Yeah, exactly. I'm right back on track. Yeah, if I'm somebody who's really, really strict looking at the scale, maybe that didn't help the scale situation right now. But who cares? Because I'm a person who once or twice a year does this. So every year this is going to happen. And if I just let this turn into 6 months of bad, then that's where the problem ensues. But if I just let this happen and then I get back to my lifestyle, which is taking care of my body, being mindful of what I'm eating, just healthy, it's going to be okay. I can have the flexibility to do it. It's almost like something you unlock.
Yeah. And like we touched on with the last podcast or a couple of podcasts ago, if you think over the course of a year, how much stress and anxiety you would have to think I have to be perfect for 365 days.
It's horrible.
This is going to suck. But could you be really darn good for, let's say, 330 or 340 of those days? And let's say you let 20 get away from you, but exponentially it is weighing in your favor for those other days. And over the course of a year, that's kind of the secret to getting in shape, is not trying to be 365 days of perfect, but over the course of time, making sure that you're always like the turtle in the hare thing. You always just want to be like a step ahead. Now, to give you guys some like tangible things that you can kind of take and apply into your real world. If you guys, there's always going to be things that come up, right? Stuff that we don't plan on. You might get sick. You might roll an ankle. You might screw up your shoulder. For the past month, I don't know what I did. I went to sleep, woke up, and my shoulder was absolutely killing me. Your neck was killing you the other day.
Yeah.
But it's like, there's just stuff like that happens where I'm like, I don't know what the hell I did, but now this is driving me nuts. That's the time to go, okay, one piece of my health circle, like you think of it like a pie, one piece is taken away, and that might be the fitness portion. Or maybe you have to modify some workouts and you can't do exactly what you usually do, but there's a whole nother piece of the pie, or like 80% of it still, that you can do really, really good on. So things like making sure you're getting to bed on time, making sure your diet is squeaky clean, because if you can't get your workouts in, or maybe they're not as intense as you would like, make sure that diet's really, really good, and that'll kind of balance that out. Make sure you're hydrating. You're not filling up on, empty calories and sugar and all that stuff. But instead of going, oh my gosh, I rolled an ankle or I hurt my shoulder, I can't do absolutely anything, and now this whole circle of my health is completely blown up. Think of it as, okay, I got one piece of my pie that's taken out. How can I make these other 4, 5, 6 pieces come into play so that way I can still become effective? And then eventually that sliver of exercise or fitness gets put right back in, and you can still keep up. And you can play this game with anything. There's people that go on vacation that they're like, I pigged out on vacation, or I wasn't following a diet, and they were like, but maybe you went to the gym in your hotel, maybe you went for a jog, maybe you were walking on the beach every single day instead of sitting in an office chair, and they come back and they go, I either completely broke even on the scale, or I actually lost like a pound or two. And so even though, let's say you took the diet sliver out of that circle, the rest of it kind of made up for it, where you can kind of find this happy medium. And then when all the pieces kind of meet together synergistically, that's how you make the most damage. But there's always going to be these ebbs and flows over the course of the year where you get really, really hot for a good streak, and then you kind of cool down for a little bit. And then you get really, really hot again for a good streak, and then you might cool down for a little bit. But if you can do that over and over again, that's kind of the key to going like, okay, these bumps and bruises that I take, I know aren't permanent. And if I just keep on chugging along, I'm going to get to my end goal or get to where I'm comfortable and happy.
I like the pie chart visual that you use because that really it becomes very obvious. Like if there's 5, 6 sections of the chart, one is sleep management, one's stress management, one's nutrition, one's working out, whatever, that make up like 6 spots of it, right? If you just have one of them in this injury example gone, when it comes back time to re-add 1/6, that's a lot more easier than having to re-add 4/6, right? Like if you go, oh, I can't work out, so can't work out. I swear sometimes you almost hear excitement in people's voices. They go, oh, tweaked my back. I can't come in the gym for 2 months. It's almost like, sweet, I get the reason.
Here's an excuse I can play.
I get the reason to not move and work out. And obviously that's not everybody. And nobody is really wishing for that. There's a little bit of being dramatic, but uh, yeah, and the only reason I say it with such like, I don't know, judgment might be a harsh word because I'm not trying to be, but with such like attitude towards it is if we can just limit this, there's going to be no more yo-yo, right? It's the same that where we come back and I'm up 20 pounds, I got to get back in shape, and then everything's super hard to get back in shape because we spent so much time without it, or it's super hard to cut carbs out of my diet. It's like it's just because you've spent so much time relying on them, right? So if you slowly start to taper, which is a very realistic way of living for that example, the amount of processed food and fake foods you're eating, if you slowly just start to taper it and taper it and taper it, then if there becomes a time when you go on vacation and you just eat pizza and nachos and beer for the whole entire week, I swear after day 2 or 3, you're the one that's going to go, oh, I got to eat some chicken breasts. I got to
I'm
just
sick
have
of
a
this.
salad. I got to just have some water. I got to give myself a day because I don't feel good. And as much as the fun I'm having, it doesn't matter if I don't feel good,
Yeah.
right? So you kind of, it's almost like the same thing as you grow up and learn how to manage drinking. Like when you're a kid, you just start drinking and you drink till you get messed up. And it's just like, wow. And eventually you're just like 30, 40, 50 years old. This isn't all of us, but a lot of us just go, it's not worth how I'm going to feel tomorrow. So I'm going to play it cool. I'll have 3 or 4 drinks. That'll be plenty for me. I'll have a good night. And then before bed, I'm getting my electrolytes in, making sure I'm showered, bathed, teeth brushed, everything. CPAP machine, depending on who we are. And you still get a good 8 hours. And then you still wake up with a headache and feel like shit. But it's just like, I don't know, you just kind of prioritize what feels good, what doesn't. But it doesn't happen until we start the health focused lifestyle, right? The looking at that pie chart and going, hey, if I'm doing a 6 out of 6, 6 out of 6 of my, keep wanting to call them quadrants, 6 out of 6 of my spaces are killing it. I'm good. If I have to lose 2 of those for 2 months, I'll plug them back in. It'll be easy. It'll be manageable. It's actually going to feel weird without going 6 for 6. So I'm going to be excited and motivated to get back. And then maybe you add that one, another point. I don't know. It's just kind of like the lost ones who aren't even operating 1 or 2 out of 6 in this pie chart example. That's where it's hard. I feel like once you get a little bit of a ground, and that's why it's so important to not be 50, 60, 70 pounds out of weight who hasn't worked out in 20 years and immediately go, I'm going keto and I'm joining a CrossFit gym and I'm going to go as hard as I possibly can. It's because that's never going to work in a million years, right? That takes a very special person to be able to handle. So starting one at a time and managing those 6 pieces, right? And hone in on one, perfect it, lock it down, get to the point where you actually feel bad when you're not doing it, and then the rest is gravy. It just becomes normal life. It'd be the same as not sleeping, right? At some point we all go, God, I just want to sleep. It's the only thing I want to do is take a nap and sleep. It's like, yes, because it's good for you, right?
Yeah, and I think for a lot of people, like especially if you're starting to get in shape, like you don't know how good you can feel until you start to like actually feel good. Like how you said with the vacation thing, if it's a barbecue or a vacation or a night out or a wedding or whatever it is, and you live it up, and maybe you have some drinks or you have a piece of cake or whatever it is or some sweets, like when you're a healthy individual, that stuff makes you like it's enjoyable still. But
Sure.
the next day or like an hour or two after, you're like, I feel like dog shit right now. I'm
Right.
tired. My stomach hurts. And you're like, that was fun. I enjoyed it, but I don't want to do that for a long time again. And you kind of miss the feeling of feeling good, having energy, feeling alive, feeling awake. But when all your body has known is that other end of the coin where it hasn't felt healthy in a long time, so your
Exactly.
default is just always being lethargic, and you're like, this is just the way things are.
Exactly.
Um, so you have to like kind of see, they always say the grass isn't always greener, but you have to go to the other side of the grass to be like,
And
oh, this is how you guys are living.
this is what
This
normal
is
feels
why you
like.
guys are able to exercise all the time. And this is why it's not hard to drink water because you feel good when you drink water.
Yeah.
Or it's not hard to give up processed stuff because you have more energy from it. So, all
This is
those
my favorite one.
things,
My favorite one is I can't go to sleep at night. You go, oh yeah, what do you do? And they go, well, I just wake up and sit on my couch for 16 hours and then I can't go to sleep. It's like, have you ever been exhausted?
I know. The
Is
sleep
it,
one I will never get. I will
I,
never get.
and there's a million reasons. There's insomnia. There's things that keep people up, whatever. But I bet you 80% of them just exhaust your body a little bit, huh? That's going to knock you out. You're going to be ready to just lay in bed.
Yeah. Where it is, your body's tired. It needs some rest. You had a busy day. There's like
Yeah.
how your whoop strap is, how there's like a strain
Yep.
that we all put on our bodies just naturally, even if you don't exercise. There's a
Right.
strain that your body needs to kind of recuperate from over the course of the day. And then the busier days or the workout days, that strain's going to be a little bit higher. But if you're constantly not resting, that strain just gets higher and higher and higher to the point that you're like, I'm exhausted. I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to do this. And you're like, just go to bed. Go to bed, drink some water, eat some protein.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, you feel 10 times better. It's
Absolutely.
interesting, though. A lot of
It
people don't
is.
like sleeping, I'm realizing.
Well, I'm trying to think because there's like different. I love it, right? And I don't know if it's because for the last better part of 10 years, my job's involved getting up so early in the morning. So now it's kind of like this, it's almost like this thing that I feel like my lifestyle doesn't really line up with someone else's lifestyle. A 9 to 5, yeah, they can go to bed at 10, wake up at 7. I mean, they're getting, what is that, 9 hours, 10 hours of sleep at night? Good for them, right? That's just not the way my life is. And it's okay. And there's definitely days where it's harder than others. And there's times when I want to nap in the middle of the day and I can't. And I absolutely hate my job. I'm like, God, this job is killing me. I got to wake up. I need more sleep. And then there's days where I just like, yeah, this is what I do, right? This is normal. And I forgot the point I was going on with the sleep thing. But it's the it's just like you were saying. It's the other side of the coin. So you don't know what you got till it's gone, kind of. Except the opposite, right? You don't know what it feels like to just be firing on all cylinders. To be like, oh, this is what my body is eating fuel that my body is designed to be eating. And I say this often. I always use the dog example, but it just gets lost because there's so many options for food, and there's great tasting food, and food should taste great. Yeah, why not? We should enjoy it. But it can taste great and be healthy, and there are foods that we need to eat. We are designed to eat a certain way. We're not designed to just go eat tree bark. We will die. We can't do it. Okay? Well, there's a lot of stuff that we also cannot eat. Janice was just telling me about this woman who gave her kid Mountain Dew since the time they were born. That was like the kid's water. And the kid
What?
died, and the kid died when they were 4.
He had to have been like morbidly obese.
I don't, well, the kid only made it till 4 years old because it's the only type of liquid was Mountain Dew. And I don't know where she heard this from. I hope this is true. I hope I'm not just saying it was one of those embarrassing things. And I'm like, oh, it's true. I don't know. So go ahead and fact check me if that's true or not. But she told me the story, and I don't know why she would be making it up. And it was like, oh my God. I mean, what are we doing?
I know.
What are we doing? Just because we can package it and make money off of it, it's literally poison. It's not okay. If you go on a golf trip, whatever, and you have one, whatever. If you what you're craving a Coke one day and you just go, or you go and get a slushie. Like I could bang up a Slurpee from 7-Eleven. I probably haven't had one in 2 years, but boy, on some days does that sound good.
If it's 90 degrees, you're like,
Yeah.
God
Oh.
bless.
But the point is, if I started right now only drinking Slurpees and Coke and Mountain Dew, you know how bad I would feel immediately. And this isn't like oh yeah, pat on my back. It's just because I've not done that for so long. And if you're somebody who spent the last 20 years doing that, you just don't know, you're just unaware. It's like anything else. It's like the sleep thing. You're just unaware of what it feels like to have better sleep. You're unaware of what it feels like to have bad sleep. You're unaware of what it feels like to be exhausted. People come in for a workout and they'll send me an email going, "Oh, my body hurts." It's like that is called muscle soreness. That's what happens when you use your muscles. And they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh."
Gonna take some
You know,
time.
my mom used to joke all the time because her whole thing was, "I don't like exercise. I don't like moving my body." She might be listening to this. Hi, Mom. And she used to say, when I work out, I do this weird thing where I get all hot and then water starts coming out of my body. And it's just like the joke is like, oh yeah,
I
that's
start
called sweating.
leaking
That's
everywhere.
called sweating because you're exerting yourself and you just don't do it. But yeah, it almost seems that kind of trivial sometimes where people are like, oh, I'm not supposed to only eat Fruity Pebbles. I'm not supposed to only drink Mountain Dew. Yes, that is correct. There are rules that we must abide by. I didn't make them up. If we could only eat ice cream and be healthy, I'd be first in line. I'd be the guy who only eats ice cream. But I can't. I would feel very bad, and that's enough reason for me to not, right? Amongst all the other reasons that come in. But
I
it's a
remember,
weird feeling thing.
I think the last time I had like a Coke. By the way, have you ever had Coke Zero?
Oh yeah.
It tastes just like a real Coke.
Yeah.
I took the kids to see that Garfield movie, and I got one at the movie theater, the Coke Zero. I'm like, this is as
That,
close to the real thing as you can possibly get without all the sugar
yeah.
and crap. But this was years ago. I went to breakfast, I think with Drew after, I shouldn't say breakfast. We went to McDonald's breakfast. Um, and I got, what the hell did I get? Something, and I got like a Coca-Cola from the fountain.
Oh yeah.
And it was delicious, but I will say I thought my heart was going to explode out of my chest. I got the worst heartburn, and I've never had heartburn in my entire life.
Oh
But
wow.
it was like I was in like great shape at the time, working out like crazy. No kids, no girlfriend, just a dude that was like, I had nothing to do today but just exercise. Um, but my God, I was in the passenger seat like, is this it? Am I dying right now? Is this what it's gonna feel like? But it hurt so bad that I couldn't
Oh
even finish it. And that was like my first eye-opening experience where I'm like, oh, my body is actively rejecting this shit
yeah.
right now that's in it.
Yeah.
Scary
Yeah.
though.
I did that with a lot of like gut health stuff. I was, just to spare the details, spending too much time in the bathroom for a good chunk of my life there. And I finally just slowed down and was like started thinking and eliminating foods and trying to do this. And it's one of those out of sight, out of mind. It's like I would wake up every morning with a bad feeling stomach. Like it would be bad. I'd be in the bathroom, then I'd have coffee, which just makes everything worse. And I would just be like working and just miserable. And eventually the light kind of came on. I was like, dude, do you realize that between the hours of 5 a.m. and 9 a.m., you are miserable? And then all of a sudden, around 10, everything starts getting normal again. And I eat and so I'm like, oh, maybe there's certain foods, maybe it's a dairy intolerance, maybe it's a gluten intolerance. And I started trying and doing all of this stuff. I ended up starting taking this matcha mushroom tea thing that really helped. Point is, you kind of learn and you eliminate stuff. And then mine was processed like, not that I would have it all the time, but if I have something like late before bed, and I don't think it has anything to do with being before bed. I think it has, like, that's just explaining why it's in the morning. Like if I ate this in the morning, then probably around,
Breaks down in your gut when you're sleeping, and then you wake up and you feel like
yeah,
crap.
yeah. I think it's just a timing of it. But if I have like crackers or chips or ice cream, like I said, and um, I would just be struggling. And all of a sudden I go, oh, I don't need to do that anymore. And it's just kind of it was a very, very easy adjustment to be like, oh, I'd rather feel good. Like I'm
Yeah,
at work at that time. I'm not just sleeping from 5 to 9 in the morning. I'm at work. So I need to be on. I can't just be suffering slowly, quietly to be dramatic, right? I need to be good. That's when I need to be peaking for my day. I need to be feeling the best part of my day right there. And so uh yeah, like it just we had this one I'll never forget. Her name was Erica. She has not been a member for a long time, but she was a member way back before COVID, and she did one of our old challenges and did awesome. And she found out that she had a dairy intolerance that she'd just been dealing with for like 15 years.
just thought it was normal.
She's just like, well, ever since we're monitoring calories, I'm having less cheese, I'm having less nuts and seeds, and I know nuts and seeds aren't dairy, but eggs, and she's like, and I just feel better. She's like, and I had swelling around my ankles. I had cankles, she called them, and I hated them, and those were like the first thing to go, and blah 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 blah. And she, throughout the course, she loses, I don't know, I don't remember, 25 pounds or whatever, and looks a lot better. And it's like, oh, this whole time, on top of this weight loss and just getting healthy, you have been suffering with this food allergy that you've just thought was normal. That you're like, yeah, I thought every day at 5 p.m. you just get real gassy and bloated and uncomfortable. It's like, no, 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 no. You've been doing something every day for 15 years that your body doesn't agree with. So slow down, be mindful. You should really feel good if everything is right, right? Like you should feel bad and you should be able to identify what you did wrong. I didn't get enough sleep. I'm very stressed. My emotions are off because I'm sad, angry, whatever's going on, anxious. Or I ate like shit yesterday. I haven't worked out in 2 days. You should be able to quickly be like, did I move my body? Have I gotten sunlight? Have I gotten outside? It should be pretty quick. And if you kind of are in that position where you're like, I'm okay, but I know I'm not doing things that are keeping me healthy, odds are you might be dealing with stuff that you aren't even aware of.
There was a dude here that he's been our member now for 2 or 3 years. Always had a bad knee, and he's like, this thing has been bugging me forever. And so we like modify stuff, or like we'll just if there's jumping involved, he'll modify it. And then he's got a place up north, so he travels up north for the summertime for a couple months, and then comes back down here. So comes back, and I was like, hey, you good? Your knee's still bugging you? He's like, no. He goes, my knee is completely better. And he goes, I was about to get surgery. I was about to go get an MRI. And he goes, it turns out it was gout in my knee from the food that I was eating. Just
Wow.
caused all this inflammation. So he's like, I just took away what the food was or whatever the doctor told him. And he's like, 100% back to normal. He's like, still a little bit achy, but beyond incredible difference within like 2 weeks.
Wow.
And he goes, to think that he's like, all these years I thought that I had, a torn ligament or I had super bad arthritis in my knee. He goes, it turns out there's something in my body that wasn't supposed to be there that I ate. And he's like, whatever it was, I kept eating it. I forgot what he said it was. But stopped eating it, completely back to normal. My knee is fine.
Wow. Wow. That's
Weird,
awesome.
though.
That's best case scenario, though. A
I
surgery
know.
and all that crap.
That's what I said. I'm like, could you imagine if you had to go under the knife and all this shit for literally no reason at all?
Surgeon's just in there going,
Yeah. There's a little.
everything's fine, so we're just gonna close it back up, and we're gonna tell them we did the surgery. Let's see.
Just take like a jelly bean out of it. You're like, oh, there was there was a jelly bean inside your knee. This should be all back to normal now. Here's what was causing the problem.
Here's what the issue was.
But I'm trying to think, people. I think that's all we got. You got anything, Evie boy?
No. I would just say, yeah, parting advice if you've listened and made it to this far in the show is slow down a little bit. Hone in with your body. It's worth it. It's interesting. If nothing else, it's just going to help. It might be helping emotionally, physically. I just think it's very important, and we don't prioritize it enough. So that's the cause. That's what I work on every single day. That's what you work on every single day. So sometimes it gets frustrated when you feel like you're talking is landing on deaf ears. And so if you didn't make it this far, thank you for listening. But check in on yourself. It's important to do physically, mentally, all of that good stuff. And let us know if you need anything. We love you guys, always.
Love you, peoples. And like always, should you need anything at all to help get you in shape, head to core4supplements.com. You guys know the drill. If you are a podcast listener or watcher, you save 10% off of anything and everything inside the store. And if you spend over $100, you also get free shipping on everything. So grab whatever you need. Stock up. We got whey protein, we got collagen, we got sleep gummies, we got BCAAs, pretty much everything under the sun. And it's all safe and there to help you guys get in great shape. So that is all, peoples. Love you guys, and we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.